No, I can't do it. Can't do it. I know this is ridiculous, but the quarantine, no. Still not gonna get to the point where I can cut my own hair, even if it does look horrible. Sorry, we're a little crazy here in quarantine times, but in today's video, got something kind of fun for you. It's something I get asked quite a bit about, and it is, if you're a freelance writer, should you spend the time to build an email list? Why as a freelance writer, why would an email list be a good thing for you to have? Everybody says the money's in the list. If you've got an online business, the email list is the best thing you can have, but if you're someone who's freelancing and you're going out looking for jobs, what's the point? So in this video, we're gonna tell you everything you need to know about email marketing and building an email list as a freelance writer, and if it's something you should do. So before I waste any more of your time, roll the intro. Okay, so as a freelance writer, there are two approaches you can take to email marketing and building an email list. And you know what? Either one's totally fine. The first approach you can take is you could care less about email marketing and you don't do it. That's fine. As a freelance writer, you do not have to build an email list. And in some cases, it's just gonna be too much time. It's not going to pay off for you. It's not going to be worth it. So if the idea of building opt-ins to your website and trying to drive traffic and trying to get people to sign up to something that you don't even know what it's gonna be and having to take the time to create the opt-in for them to do, if that's too much for you, that's cool. Go back to sending out your introductory emails. Go back to sending out your pitches. Go get your clients. Go get your money, and don't worry about an email list because it doesn't necessarily matter. But if you are inclined to start an email list, if starting an email list, you're like, you know what? I think this is something I want to have. I want to own something of my own so that I can market to it later on or build relationships or whatever. Well, that's approach number two. You can build an email list as a freelance writer, and it's going to look a little bit different than if you're doing it as a blogger or as an e-commerce business because it's probably not going to be huge. It's probably not going to be tens of thousands of people unless you've got some sort of blog component or course component or something like that. But you can have a very small, very targeted email list that sends you a very large number of clients if you do it the right way. So what does that look like? Well, I'm going to tell you what that looks like. Okay, so we talked about as a freelance writer, you have two approaches to building an email list. You can not do it, which is fine, or you can do it. If you decide to do it, there are two approaches you can take within that. So the first approach you can take is industry-based. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a medical writer. Maybe you've got background in medicine or something, but you do medical writing and that is your niche. Specifically, you want to target dental practices. Blogging, creating articles, creating content could be a really good way for those dental practices to grow their business. So what if you were to create a newsletter that you put out maybe weekly, could even be monthly, where you offer marketing advice specifically for dental practices? If someone's doing the marketing for a dental practice and they came across a freelance writer that was putting out really valuable marketing information about how to do content marketing, content writing in the dental industry, of course you're going to sign up for that, especially if it's free. That's a no-brainer. And it's not like you're going to get tens of thousands of marketing people for dental companies that are going to join this list. It's going to be a very niche, group. But let's say you got a few hundred people on there. Those are the few hundred people that are going to want to hire someone like you to write all of these articles, to help them with their marketing. So if you're a freelance medical writer and you know a lot about dental practices and you're trying to market to dental practices, create a newsletter for them that build that email list, start giving them value. So when they're like, okay, we need to hire someone to do some of the writing for us, who are we going to do? Oh yeah, that person that has a whole website devoted to writing for dental practices. So you basically want to go as niche as possible. So for instance, me, I do freelance golf writing and golf marketing writing. So I could create a newsletter specifically for golf companies that's all about how I would do content marketing in golf and how I would go about it. So when they're like, man, we need someone that can, write some emails for us or write some blog posts, who do we know? Oh, yeah, that guy that has a whole newsletter on exactly how to do that. Let's hire him. So that's one way that starting an email list can be beneficial if you're a freelance writer. Okay, so the second strategy. So the first one is you go niche-based. So if you're in golf or if you're in medical or whatever it is, you target people within that niche. The second way is you go content-based. So maybe you're an expert at different types of content. Maybe you're an expert at creating white papers. Maybe you're an expert at creating like instruction manuals, like technical writing. Or maybe you're an expert at writing case studies where you do the interview with someone and you tell that story in a really compelling way. So let's use case studies as an example. You're the person when it comes to creating case studies. Well, lots of brands and lots of businesses, that's something they're going to do. That's a really effective way to sell something, by highlighting the case study, the people that have used their product, for instance, and had success with it. But there's a little bit of an art to doing the interview and getting that case study to come across in a compelling way. So if you're the person that's an expert at case studies, and say you've got a newsletter, you build an email list that is offering tips and constructive help all about how to do a proper case study, giving examples of ones that you've done. When that company is like, okay, we need to create a series of 6 case studies all about users that have had success with our products. How are we going to do this? They say, oh, let's go to the case study person. Like, yeah, I'm on this like newsletter where they talk about how to do this all the time. They are the foremost expert in creating case studies. So let's hire them. And there's lots of different ways you can be content focused. Maybe you are really good at writing BuzzFeed style blog posts, 17 ways to this, 16 worst things in this, or whatever it's going to be. And someone needs 10 of those. You might be the person that comes to mind if you've created a brand that revolves around that certain type of content. So those are just a couple examples of how email marketing and building an email list can work if you're a freelancer. The bottom line is there's really no downside to building an email list. Even if it's just people that stumble across your site and they want to keep in touch with you, even if you put out something, once a month that is just the best things you've seen, it's just something that shows your personality and gives you a reason to send something to people to stay top of mind. Often when people are thinking about who they're going to hire, it's the person that they last thought about. And so if people are thinking about you on a regular basis, that can be pretty effective. If you've got a blog component to your freelance services website, that makes it that much easier to build an email list, because you can always just, send something out every time you've got a new blog post. And that's going to be one more example of showing off your writing, showing off your personality, and anybody that's on that's considered hiring you, it's probably going to make their decision easier, because they're either going to be like, yes, I love that person, I love their personality, I want them, or it's going to be the opposite. Be like, you know what, this person, it's not for us. They don't strike the right tone, and that's fine. You want to be polarized. You want people to love you or really not like you, because it's going to make those people that really like you, it's going to make it easier for them to hire you. And those people that really don't like you, well, they're not going to waste your time. Your time is valuable. You don't want people that are going to waste it. So there you go. That is my completely definitive answer to, should you start an email list as a freelance writer? You got 2 options. Do it. Don't do it. Good news is, either way is totally fine. So hopefully if you decide it's right for you, that these tips were helpful. If you decide it's not right for you, then don't give this another thought. Turn off this video right now and just go back to pitching clients and getting work. My name's Sean Ogle. We got new videos every Monday and Thursday all about how to build a lifestyle business that's going to let you work from anywhere and do more of the stuff you love to do. And if you ask me, the easiest way to make money online, it's freelance writing. And we have a ton of content on freelance writing. We even have a whole course called Location Rebel Academy, where we teach you how to build this type of business in 60 days. Get you to the point where you're making $3 grand a month, $5 grand a month, because then you got options. So if that's something you want help with, we got a link below. Go check our freelance writing guide, locationrebel.com/FWG, and that's going to get you started and start walking you down the steps to building this type of business. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you on the next video. Hopefully with a haircut, but let's be real, probably still months out from that. Peace.